Pathologist Waney Squier has had the book thrown at her. A General Medical Council panel, a retired wing commander, a former Merseyside copper and a retired geriatric psychiatrist found her evidence to be outrageous and untruthful, that she had misrepresented and cherry-picked and said, "You must have realised you were being dishonest." Either Waney Squier is a bad doctor who faces being struck off for effectively lying to the courts, or she's a Galileo for the 21st century, the victim of a great scientific injustice. In plain English, are you saying that shaken baby syndrome is rubbish?
Yes, I am. And I think we've known that from the very outset.
But there are many doctors, senior doctors, who gave evidence against you who don't agree with that at all.
That's correct. I've looked in great detail at the literature on shaken baby syndrome. I've gone through the whole history of shaken baby syndrome and read as much as I can, and I have found nothing which satisfies me that there's any scientific foundation for it.
They're calling you a liar, effectively.
They are.
And what's your reaction to that?
As I say, I gave my evidence to the best of my ability. I tried to be as truthful and as honest as this work demands. It's serious work, and I take it seriously.
Shaken baby syndrome is hotly disputed. Its supporters believe that swelling of the brain, bleeding over the surface of the brain and in the eyes must have been caused by the baby being violently shaken. But the syndrome's critics doubt it exists, including former defence lawyer Campbell Malone. Shaken baby syndrome is a fact, true or false?
I'm not a scientist, but the Court of Appeal held in 2005 that shaken baby syndrome was a hypothesis, was a theory, not a fact.
In 2007, Newsnight told the story of Suzanne Holdsworth, then serving life for murdering toddler Carl Fisher. Dr Squier, one of the country's very few neuropathologists, was asked by Campbell Malone to examine the evidence against her. The original trial had heard that Suzanne must have slammed Kyle against a banister. Suzanne said he'd suffered a fit.
Patients who have epilepsy have scars in their brain and they act as a focus for the epileptic activity. So Kyle, in fact, had two abnormalities in his brain that would predispose him to having seizures.
And seizures can kill.
And seizures can kill.
As a direct result of Waney Squier's evidence, Suzanne Holdsworth was freed by the Court of Appeal and at retrial found not guilty. I asked her today what she thought about the tribunal's verdict on Dr Squier.
I am absolutely disgusted in it. You know, if it weren't for Waney Squiers, if it wasn't for Waney Squiers, I don't think I'd be here where I am now. You know, we turn to Waney Squiers for help. If Waney Squiers is not here anymore, like people like me that are wrongly convicted, who are they going to turn to?
The question at the heart of this argument is not who killed this baby, but was there a crime? As far as shaken baby syndrome is concerned, Dr Squier has been a thorn in the side of the medical establishment, the Crown Prosecution Service and the Metropolitan Police. The Met's Child Abuse Unit initiated the case against Dr Squier. In their view, they had to. Child protection is paramount.
My view is that having lost the scientific argument, having lost the legal argument, what they've done is to try and take the experts on an individual basis out of the argument. It seems to me that we, in the 21st century, have gone back to the days of the Inquisition.
In the future, when someone is accused of shaking a baby to death on the science, who will defend them?
I think it's a deeply troubling time because this is going to inhibit even further anybody who understands the science and who has a valid opinion to offer from stepping forward for fear of also facing this kind of hearing.
Dr Squier faces being struck off later this month. Despite all our scientific advances, the tragedy of unexplained infant death stays with us. For Suzanne Holdsworth, this isn't an academic issue. Without Dr. Squier, she fears she might still be in prison.
It felt like I'd won the lottery. It was amazing, something what I'd never thought I would do. So, if it wasn't for people like Waney Squiers, that people like me would be still in prison.